Good evening, ladies and gentlemen present over here. Firstly, I should just bow down for the confidence that these kids have. I wish I had this kind of confidence when I was their age. आज मैं शायद कहीं का कहीं और होता. So big round of applause for all the kids who have performed extremely well throughout the last 1 hour. Thank you so much, Ratan sir, Meghna ma'am, Sharvari ma'am, Manju ma'am for inviting me here. I was speaking to Meghna ma'am. She called me that there's an annual day happening on 29th of February and you have to be there. We are inviting you as a chief guest. I told her one simple thing, that when a kid goes outside Nasik for, let's say, studies, or when a kid goes outside India for like pursuing further education, parents don't ask or parents don't invite them, right? They tell them you have to come, you have to spend time with us. I told her that I'm not a guest here. I am a kid who was born by Fravashi International Academy and I'm coming as a kid who has been nurtured from Fravashi International Academy itself. It is like 27th Jan 2012, by the way. So this was the day when I was hosting the annual day of Fravashi International Academy and Mr. Sachin Khedekar, who's a very renowned actor, he was the chief guest. And I was manifesting that day that whether I'll also get a chance after a few years down the line to come up on the dais, speak like him. And today, after 12 years, 1 month and 2 days, that chance has happened because of love and support of all of you. So the power of manifestation absolutely works. And that day I was attending and hosting the annual day from the backstage. And today I have the privilege and honor to be a chief guest on the same occasion 12 years down the line. Thank you so much once again. So I would like to divide my speech into 3 key takeaways. The number 1 takeaway is the importance of sacrifices in your life. I remember this quote which I'd read on Instagram long back. If you don't sacrifice for what you want, then what you want becomes the sacrifice. There are some things in your life that you have to achieve after a point in time, and for that you'll have to do n number of sacrifices. If you don't sacrifice them, one day maybe the thing you want to achieve, you might have to sacrifice that thing itself. I'll give you some personal examples as well, right? November 2019 was the month and year of my CA finals examination. July 2019, which is 7th and 8th of July, were the days when my real sister was getting married. 3rd July to 8th July, I ensured that I am giving time to the wedding. However, given the fact that CA curriculum is very vast, it was not possible for me to give entire 100%, and I did not even give that effort of helping my dad in my sister's wedding. However, my sister was more mature enough to understand that your exams are coming in just 4.5 months and you need to study. And on your results day, we'll be more proud of you. Trust me and just study with your 100%. There were some relatives who used to tell me that तू इतना पढ़ाई क्यों कर रहा है? तेरे दीदी की शादी है, तूने तो enjoy करना चाहिए. This is once in a lifetime moment. And I used to tell them that मेरे लिए भी ये once in a lifetime moment. Both are equally important for me. And 16 Jan 2020, which is 6 months down the line, my sister called me and she was like, congratulations, you've secured All India rank 5 in your CA finals and we are happier for you, and thank you so much for just studying and ensuring that you were giving your best when my wedding was going around. I think those same relatives who used to tell me that क्यों इतना पढ़ाई कर रहा है, क्यों इतना पढ़ाई पे focus कर रहा है, enjoy कर, those were the same people who told me after a point in time that thank you so much for not helping. We are extremely proud of you and this is something which will be lifelong there with you for the rest of your life. Other sacrifices which I think a lot of people have done in my life. I'm not the only one who've done sacrifices, right? When I was giving my exams, it was not me who was the only one who was giving my exams. My parents were equally giving the examinations because they were the ones who've also done a lot of sacrifices. I think all of you can relate to this very well. When your kids' exams are there, you're also the one who's equally involved in guiding them and ensuring they will clear their examinations. That was the support system I got from my parents as well. I remember my mom had asked me one day, can you order a sandwich from outside? And I told her that मैं अगर sandwich order करूँगा, अगर मुझे stomach ache हो गया तो मेरी पढ़ाई पे disturbance हो सकता है. She felt so bad. She told me that I had to go to a family function and that's why I'm requesting you to order from outside. But I'll wait for you, I'll prepare food for you at 7:30 p.m. I'll serve you because that was my dinner time. And then she went for the family function late after half an hour, telling the guest that I have to just ensure that he is just focusing on his academics. That is the sacrifice which my mom has also done. And regarding my dad, I think I remember that there is not a single day when he came to our house before 1:30 p.m. or after 1:30 p.m. He knew that I had my lunch at 1:30 p.m. sharp. That was the timetable I had made. And he ensured that he's coming at the house itself at 1:30 p.m. And that is the sacrifice which they had done. Like there was not a single disturbance which was there at our house itself. Not a single guest used to come. And that is something which really helped me. It is not you who are going to become successful. It is your parents also who are going to equally become successful once they see you grow in your life as well. The main reason of doing CA was because my dad wanted to become a chartered accountant. Unfortunately, due to luck or fortune, he couldn't clear his exams back in 1990s. 16 Jan 2020, I think the day I became a chartered accountant, he also became a chartered accountant, because that was the first day I saw him into tears in my life, and I could just see the feeling that he had, and I think that is something which we as kids can give back to our parents. That is the importance of sacrifices. The next message which I'd like to give to all of you is that don't chase early success in life. If you are someone who's just beginning your career, if you are someone who has already established their career as well, it's very important to be patient. I feel that today's kids, right, including me, I'm 25 right now, we are very, very impatient. We want early success, we chase quick growth in lives, but that is something which will come if you consistently work for n number of hours. I'll give a very simple example. If you plant a Chinese bamboo seed, you won't even see a single sprout for the next 5 days, for the next 5 months, or even for the next 5 years. But you will see a sprout or a plant which will grow as tall as 6 feet in the next 6 days after the 5th year. Some people will say that this plant grew in a span of just 6 days itself. But the reality is what? The plant took 5 long years and 6 days. And that is the reality, which is patience is something which is extremely important. And I think my 5 years, which is the foundation, were set in Fravashi International Academy from 2008 to 2015, which really helped me to become those tall as 6 feet. And that is something which I owe back to this amazing school, which is not just a school to me, but it's my second home, honestly. So I would just request everyone not to chase early success and be patient with whatever is coming in your lives ahead. And the third and the last message which I'd like to give everyone is that moving out of comfort zone is extremely important. The earlier you move out of your comfort zone, the higher are your chances of growth. Again, let me give you a simple example. I'm a big fan of storytelling, by the way. I write a lot of stories as well on my LinkedIn handle, so I am going to share a lot of stories. So one story that I was just going to my office while my internship was going on in Mumbai. It was a Saturday evening at 7:30 p.m. I asked my boss that my work is over for the day. Can I just go back home and just pursue some other activities because it's a Saturday evening? And my boss scolded me in front of 10 people, telling that we are working here late nights, and just because your work is finished doesn't mean that you will just leave out of the office right now. And I was feeling very embarrassed, and I was literally into tears. I was like, ki main kahan par aa gaya hu? I called my dad while traveling back to my hostel in Andheri, and I told him that you have a very well settled family business. Can I just join your business? I'll just come back. I don't want to do my internship in Mumbai. I can't just survive this corporate culture which is there. My dad told me one simple thing, that if you come right now to join my family business, even I won't take you here, because I don't want quitters in my family business. I want people who are strong enough, who can survive the corporate culture, who can just tackle all the hurdles and challenges and then come back after having a successful exit in their stints which is there. So I think moving out of your comfort zone is extremely important when it comes to succeeding in your lives ahead. So a message to all the kids who are there, right? I mean, firstly, you guys are very, very confident. You guys are very, very young. Only one thing which I'd like to mention to all of you is that we all have to make our mama and papa proud today, and we have to promise ourselves that we are going to study very hard, we are going to come up with flying colors, and we are going to become the best of the best human beings. Remember these lines, right? People shouldn't recognize you by your parents' name after a point in time. People should recognize your parents by your name after a point in time. If that is the mindset, then I think you can become very, very successful. And people should say that, okay, he is the father of Virat Kohli, or she is the mother of Sundar Pichai, who's the CEO of Google. If people are talking these things, then I think you would have become successful after a point in time. I just use the word success, right? But what exactly is success? According to the Oxford Dictionary, success means the attainment of an aim or some status in your life. But if you ask me what is my definition of success, it is pretty simple. Success is not only when you are inspired by someone, but success is when you are the one who inspires someone. And once you are able to inspire someone, that is when I will be able to call you successful. This is a message to all the kids who are listening this. Secondly, I would like to address all the parents who are there. 90% of the people here are parents, and I'd like to just request one thing from all of you. Let all the kids pursue their dreams, pursue their hobbies, and let them just enjoy about any particular hobby they are passionate about. If they enjoy playing a musical instrument, let them do that. If they are passionate about playing a particular sport, let them do that. But most importantly, what is more important is that I'd like to tell you that I can vouch that you have sent your kids to a very, very right place, and it's a second home for all of them. I'll tell you certain examples, right? when I entered Fravashi International Academy back in 2008, I was a very, very shy, very introvert kid. Like, you'll be surprised, I was the shortest, by the way, in my batch. And some people also know that I used to just be teased a lot by my friends because I used to have a very champu hairstyle, and I used to be the shortest in all the 60 people who used to be there in the classroom. And one fine day, I go to my class teacher when I was in grade 8. I remember her name, Leena ma'am. And I request her and I tell her that, ma'am, a lot of people are teasing me and I'm not able to just handle this, all these things which are going on in the classroom because of my height. And she mentioned this beautiful example. Remember that a lotus, if it is there in a very dirty pond, the lotus is still going to be beautiful. You just have to be the lotus in spite of any dirt which is going to be there around you. And that struck my mind. And from that day itself, I was so positive. And I think because of that explanation and incidents, I have been able to just change my personality all of a sudden. In grade 8, I became the CCA captain. And that was the day when I mentioned the 2012 thing. I was hosting the annual day because I was the co-curricular activities captain. I used to go on the morning assemblies and I used to just announce Stanity's attention. And there used to be some seniors who used to just they just used to smile and chuckle that, okay, I was not very confident in front of a mic. And that really helped me in order to just stay confident and just be consistent to what I'm doing. So that is the importance of a school and mentors and teachers who are always going to guide you and help you no matter what you are going to become in your life ahead. So just request to all the parents is that let the kids pursue their hobbies, let them do whatever they want in their lives, of course not at the cost of academics, but trust me when I say this, I mean it completely. I can vouch you, I can guarantee you that you have sent your kids to a very, very beautiful place where they are going to become and grow as an individual human being going forward in their life. Lastly, coming to Ratan sir, right? So Ratan sir, if I speak anything about you, it's going to be short of words. And again, in the interest of time, I mean, I'll have to wrap it up within a minute or two. But I think you have been like one of the role models I have always looked up to, especially when it comes to the education sector. I remember I was having a conversation with him. I asked him that, why don't you build a business school, or why don't you foray into the business school market as well? And he told me a beautiful thing. I want to be someone who is helping the kid in their foundation. I mentioned like the example which I mentioned, the foundation, the roots. I want to help the kids in order to just grow their roots and make them stronger. In a B school, the average age is 24 and 25. The foundation has already been set, and that's why I really want to I'm very passionate about building a foundation, and that's why I am building a school and not a business school. His passion towards the education sector is something which really helped him to become super successful today. Educating 9,000 plus students across 3 different schools in Nashik city itself is a very, very big thing, and I have been inspired by him to start my own education startup as well. He has played a very successful role, and I still remember when I was meeting him, he told me that all my contacts are your contacts itself. If you need any help, just reach out to me and I'll introduce you to anyone you want in the education sector. A man like him stating that all the contacts are my contacts is itself a very big thing for me. And I think his humility and down-to-earth nature is something that has helped him in order to become super successful today. And that is something which I really, really admire a lot about him. In fact, my sister, she visited Della Adventures a couple of weeks back, and she met the founder of Della, Jimmy Mistry. And Mr. Jimmy Mistry mentioned that, where are you from? And they were just having a conversation. My sister told him that I am from Nashik. And he immediately mentioned that one of my very close friends stay in Nashik as well. And my sister was like, oh, okay, what's his name? And he mentioned Mr. Ratan Lat. And my sister was like, oh, like these are the examples which people give of Mr. Ratan Lat whenever we meet all these industry stalwarts. I recently met the chairman of Upgrad and the founder of UTV, Mr. Ronnie Screwwala. And he also mentioned that when I told him that I am a student of Mr. Ratan Lat's school, he was the one, he was very happy and smiling a lot. This is the respect that we get whenever we take his name. So thank you so much, sir, for being such a pioneer in the education industry. Lastly, to conclude, I'd just like to give one piece of advice to all of you. Never take success to your mind, otherwise you will have ego issues. Take success to your heart, celebrate it like a 1-year-old kid who's given an ice cream, and keep moving on. On the other hand, never take failure to your heart, otherwise you will keep complaining and crying all the time. Take failure to your mind, analyze what went wrong, and don't repeat the mistakes again. Irrespective of success or failing, whatever it is, you have to keep moving on. If you are successful, you have to move on to achieve bigger milestones in life. If you fail, you have to keep moving on in order to become successful at the end of the day. And that is something which you should always remember. Take success to your heart and failure to your mind, and definitely you will be able to move on in your life going forward. In conclusion, I've just made a very, very short poem as a part of my gesture towards Fravashi International Academy and my school days from 2008 to 2015. So I'll just conclude with a very short and sweet poem which I've written for the school itself. Sitting at the last bench was so cool. I really miss going to my school. Post lunch, we used to play in the beautiful garden. The heavy school bag I carried was my life's lightest burden. I remember diving in that swimming pool. I really miss going back to my school. It's hard to keep in touch with friends, and that's what I'm trying. If I were to define school, it is we join crying, we leave crying. We used to get punished if we broke a rule. I really miss going to my school. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being patient listeners. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I owe a lot to this entire place. It's not just a place for me, it's a paradise and it's my second home. Thank you so much.